Hey there, Ken here. It's been a while since I did an update. Just thought I'd do a quick one. Let me just turn off that pump in the background. It's probably a bit noisy. Um, so not a lot going on really. It's been that time of year. Just going to do my bottom drain flush. Let's put these in water. Just do my bottom drain flush. Um, that, to be honest, this time of year I do every 3 weeks. During the summer months I do at least every two, if not every week. But I obviously haven't been feeding. I haven't fed since just before Christmas. Pond temperature is at, says there, 9.6. The Kactoily says, I think 10.2. Truth is probably somewhere in the middle. So it's not bad. It's been on, I don't know about the UK, but certainly here in Ireland, we've had a spell of weather for the last month or 6 weeks that's consistently sort of being highs of 5 or 6 degrees, which I can't think of the last time we had a year like that. Like, we've had years where it goes up and down, but to have that sort of consistent spell of cold weather just feels unusual. But that's certainly what we have, and it's got a lot milder in the last few days, up to sort of 12-degree high. Um, but it is only sort of coming up towards the end of February, so there's a bit to go yet. Hopefully maybe a month or so away till I start putting a bit of wheat germ in. Filter's going well since my disaster with the screens, as you might remember. Again, not having much work to do. There's very little. I've flushed the bottom drains. Very little, I'd say, in them, but just give it a flush. The big blue, it's been fine. It's teetering on the brink, I'd say, around. I was getting readings of 0.3 and I blasted some air around it and gave it a shake, and it came back down to 0.01, I think it is. 0.02 is the sort of max for koi parts per million. So I'll just keep an eye on it. I'm not far off needing a carbon change on it, which is a horrible job. I still have to get rid of the last carbon change. Just drain that water out and stick it into bags and into the bin is what I usually do with it. What else is going on? Not a lot else. The Kactoily, yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I know you've seen a fair few reviews of them. I obviously paid for that one myself. Seen in previous videos, I did have problems with the probe, the floating probe. I'll just go out. They replaced it. Now, it took about 6 weeks to get the replacement because it came from China. You can see it floating in there. The problem with the probe was, that's it. It was leaking water. The seals on them aren't great. And I put the new one in, and to be honest with you, it wasn't good at all. I think it was another faulty one. It didn't look like a new one. I ended up sort of playing with the old one and sealing it up and testing it and putting a bit of silicone grease on it, and I think, get it sealed, and it's watertight and it's fine. The only thing I find with it is it hangs, so it just sticks at a reading after a couple of days and won't move, and I have to turn the unit on and off to get it to move again. Talk about the fish now in a second. And so what I've done is I have a timer switch on it here. And basically what that does is it resets it every couple of days, just turns it on and off. And that works. Do I trust the readings from it? Temperature is in or about right. pH, I think, is it now. I was getting pH over 8. It's now back down to 7.7 something. I don't have it on there at the minute. Do I trust it? It's in or about. Would I recommend them? No, I wouldn't. That cost me €160. It's a novelty. I don't know if I trust the readings from it. TDS, there's ORP there as well. So, you know, a novelty that I can sort of look at it on my phone and see what the temperature is roughly, or the pH. Not a necessity. I think, you know, the Blue Lab Guardian, which a lot of people have and is more expensive, I think they're more reliable. I just don't think they're particularly well made. You get what you pay for. It's a good idea, but it's just not well executed in my opinion. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. It kind of works. I have it working, but I wouldn't be saying buy one of these. They're fantastic, because I've had problems. Fish, you saw them there. I'll just go back out again. Still flashing. It's just so annoying. Just to go back, they were flashing before. See this one here, that looks like carp. He's very white there. That's one thing about that Jin Matsuba, or not Jin Matsuba, he's an Aka Matsuba. He's not a great example, but when he gets cloudy, he's a bit like a canary in the coal mine. You know there's something wrong, and there's something not right in there. So just to give you a bit of history, before the end of the summer, they were flashing. Now, if you go back to my videos, I had major problems and lost a low 9 goldfish and a koi there before. I'll just move this out of the way. This is I haven't used it in a while. That's my piece of 100mm insulation that I stick in the window on very cold nights. Whether it does anything is another thing, but anyway. So I had a lot of problems. Settled down, they were fine. Then towards the end of the summer, late August, September, they started flashing again. Did a load of scrapes, could find nothing. Eventually found some trick. So did a PP treatment. Did nothing. They were okay for about a week, and then they start. Now, it's when I say flashing, they're not madly flashing it. They're slightly irritated. They're not queuing up at the bottom drains or anything like that. But they are flashing nonetheless. So, you know, it's not normal. I then did another few scrapes, could find nothing. Found another few trick. Now, you know, trick, if you find lots of them, yeah, I found a few. I don't know whether that's the problem. Anyway, I did 2 treatments with FMG. Again, okay for a couple of weeks, then back again. So I've just been watching them now, particularly as it's warmed up in the last week or so. They're starting to flash again more. So I'm going to take a couple out later, probably these. I don't know whether they're Daiitsu Kuhakus or Kujakus or whatever they are. Just take them out, and maybe they've been doing it more than most. You can see the Jin, the Yakamatsuba there. He's this white sort of hue on him. So given the temperature, I'd probably be okay for FMG again, but I might go for a PP and maybe follow up with another PP after about 5 days or so. But I'll see what I find on the scrapes. You know, it just wouldn't surprise me if again I find nothing. You would think 2 treatments of FMG and a PP treatment would do it, but it hasn't, whatever it is. That's that. So listen, what I'll do is I will do the scrape. If I find anything, I'll do another bit onto this and let you know. But otherwise, it's kind of that time of year where there's not a lot happening. It's just the routine maintenance. You know, drums do need maintenance, by the way. They need it cleaned down. You can see the lip there. Now you could leave it, but I have my pressure washer battery operated that I showed you in a previous video, so I can just drop the hose for it in here and use the pond water just to wash everything down. But it's yeah, it's it's been grand. I don't use a UV, by the way. I think I said before, don't see the point, don't need it in the winter. The same with the spin drifter. The only time I'll turn it on is when I'm doing the pond and the filter's off, or if I'm treating. No need for it. Like the water temperature's down, the oxygen is very high in the water. It's only wasting electricity. I'm not mad on spin drifters anyway, especially even during the summer. You can't see the fish clearly with it going. So what I think I might do this summer is just have it running, but maybe have it running overnight rather than during the day for a few hours. I'll see how that goes. But that's it. Listen, I'll leave it at that. If I find anything on the scrapes, I will do an addendum and let you know. The plan is if I do something, I'll do a clean up today and a little bit of a water change, and then maybe do a PP tomorrow. By the way, that down there, you can see it clearly there. That is the pump for the jet wash for the drum. So it uses the water from the biochamber to wash. You can also have an external pump if you want, as some do, and you'd be using chlorinated water, but it doesn't really matter because most of it is going out of the pond. It's not going back into the pond. Very little of it would anyway. So I'll leave it at that before I start rambling on, and if I find anything on the fish, I shall let you know. Okay, cheers. Hey folks, Ken here. How you doing? Just a quick addendum to the video. First of all, did a couple of scrapes. Well, 2 scrapes on 1 fish. Well, 1 big scrape, sort of back belly with a bit of a credit card thing I have. One of the smaller fish was easy enough to manage. Divided it onto 2 slides. First slide went way over it, nothing at all, couldn't see anything. Second slide, found 9 fluke. So definitely a fluke infestation. So what I decided to do was, I have some flubanol there, and I'm going to give that a try. I know people have said, oh, flubanol isn't as good, but I had it. I also have some Fluke Solve Plus. If the flubanol doesn't work, I'll use the Fluke Solve. Now, I was talking to Dave from Coastal Koi at the show at the end of last year, and Dave was saying flubanol does still work, but you need to put in a 1.5 times the dose. Now, I've read with flubanol before, it's not really possible to overdose it unless you went completely mad. So I put that in yesterday, and I'll see how that does. If it doesn't work, I'll go for the Fluke Solve. It's also out of date, my flubanol, by a few months, but again, with that sort of powder stuff, I'm not too sure that being that out of date is a big deal. We'll find out anyway. The other problem I had was my vac. I went to vac out water out of a vat that I had carbon from the Big Blue in, and I wasn't watching it, and it ingested some of the carbon, and I knackered the motor. So on my Pondovac 4, which, God, stupid bloody thing, and €240 to replace it. You have to buy the whole plastic top head piece. You can't buy the motor on its own. I did take out the motor and look at it, and took out the motor carbon brushes, and the carbon brushes are broken up. I think it definitely ingested, it's like grit, that carbon stuff into the motor. So I've ordered a couple of brushes from China. That will take probably the best part of 6 weeks, but I've also ordered, bit the bullet and ordered the new head from a place in Germany. So an expensive mistake. I won't be doing that again. I would have thought now there was a separation between the motor and anything being ingested into it, but obviously not. You learn the hard way. So not a great day yesterday afterwards. So I'll see how the fish get on the fluke. At least I did find something, you know. I've done loads of scrapes and found nothing. But I'll do a post in a couple of weeks again, or a video, and let you know how I got on. Until then, all the best. Cheers.